Hello, my name is Marcelo Varanda from cglabs.ca, and I'd like to show you in this video how you can use sculptures to apply to a low-resolution polys. If you are a video gamer, or even if you're doing animation in Blenders, you may take advantage of these techniques because the final result is low resolution models. All right. Um, to start, you may want to take a look at one of my sculptures. So if you go to I will post the link, uh, but it's basically if you also search Brazilian natives head sculpture in pre-topology workflow, you also find it. Okay, but there is nothing special in this video. It's just show a sculpture from beginning to the end, and you ended up with a high density model. That's the final result. And after the sculpture is done, and then I start retopologizing, and then I come out with a low level, low resolution model. At some point, let me go further a little bit. Yeah, now you can see that I start the retopology process, and the result will be two models, one high density, which is the sculpture itself, and the second one, the low poly. Okay, this is not uh, that relevant, so we can proceed just using this Blender file here. So what I have here I have the result. I deleted the high level, the sculpture from this file. All I have here is the head, the hair, and the eyes and the lighting. Okay. All right. So there are basically two ways for applying sculpturing in models in Blender and actually do sculpturing. One is using the multi-resolution. So you start subdividing your mesh, and as you increase the level of details, you may also increase the subdivisions. The bad thing about this is you have a very dense sculpture. For the sculpting itself is not much friendly because you have some limitations while you are sculpting, and it will slow down your machine a lot once you get into the very fine level of details. The good thing is you already have a model with very levels of details that you can show to your client. And there is another advantage. You can, once you decide to do the retopology, you can decrease the levels and get the final details away, because when you are doing the retopology, you don't need much details. Okay? And then you'll be using the technique that I will be showing. Another way that I prefer myself is to enable dynamic, be very free while we are sculpturing, and you can even enable the feature for collapsing the faces, and so your final sculpture will not be as dense as using multi-res, and then you do the retopology process pretty much like I show in the video that I did just before a couple minutes ago. Either way, once you have your model in low resolution, you can go and do as I'm going to show you here, right? So how I can apply high level of details to this model, however, keeping it low resolution, low poly, especially if you are a video game developer. Okay, so what we do, uh, let me go through the process, and uh, step by step, I think you'll be very clear the way we can do that. The first thing I do, I will select the head. Let me see if I can enable the this guy here, and you guys can follow what I'm doing. Let me increase a little bit the size of the text here. We don't need any more T and N. Actually, T we are going to use for sculpturing. Let's leave the T panel open. Alright, so the head is already selected. I will duplicate the head, Shift D, and I will press Escape to leave the duplication in the same place. And I will change the name. Let's change the name for head. Let's call High. And let's also change the layer. Let's press M and send to this layer here. Okay? And let's switch to that layer. And let's select the model. Well, it's already selected the head high. Alright, so let's sculpt here the details we want. Notice that this model already has multi-res. We don't need this multi-res. We are going to delete for the low resolution model. But as it is already here, let's take advantage and go from here. Alright, let's switch to the sculpting mode, and let's add some aging in our very young Indian. So let's say, let's add some wrinkles. Let's use the crease pen brush for that. And let's say we do this. Let's do more deeper. Let's add some wrinkles here, maybe here, here, another one here. It's just for demo. It doesn't need to be perfect at this point, but it's just to show you the idea. Let's add one in the front, a second one here. We can go deeper here, and so on. We could also turn on noise and try to bring the pores and the texture for the skin. But just for this demonstration, I don't think it's worthy. I think the idea is just to show a couple wrinkles, and as long as you get the idea that we are working a very high resolution model. Let's add a bump here. Turn off the symmetry. Let's turn off X symmetry because I just want in one side, and let's add one bump here, a little smaller. There you go. I think that's good enough for just for this demo. We have now 50 years old Brazilian Indian, or 60. You could add more, add texture to the skin, etc. But I think it's good enough for the demonstration. Alright, so that's what I want. I want to apply those levels of details in our low resolution model. How you do that? The original model, I had some problems with, because my original model already had texture applied. Actually, if I render this, you see that I have done already some texture painting. And when you try to bake the Normalmap, I found some problems regards to the circle references. I think because models have the same name for the textures. What I'm going to do now for baking, I will be deleting the material for both models. I'm talking about the high resolution model and the low resolution model. Okay? All right. But before, let me show you the UV editor. And by the way, I already have the UV unwrap. It's not perfect, but for this demo, I think it's good enough. So let's go delete the render result. And for baking, first thing, both models must be in the same layer. So let's get out of the sculpting mode. Now I'm in object mode, and let's transfer this model M to the same layer where the low resolution is located. Now you have both located in this layer here, in the first layer, and they are merged together in the very same location. I don't say merge, but they are located in the same place. That's important too. They must be in the same place for baking. As I promised, as I commented before, I'm going to select the low resolution, and I'm deleting the modifier, the multi-resolution modifier. So now we have only, let's see, I don't think we have 700,000 faces. That's because it's counting both models. But if I let's see if I just age, no, it's still showing the total. I think I have to, if I want to see the count, I think I probably have to separate again, transfer to another layer. We can do that. There's nothing stopping us. So M, let's send it back to here. Let's see, now we have 5,000 faces for this model, while the high resolution model has 700,000 faces. So it's a huge difference. Okay, so let's move this model back to the layer 1. And now you have both in the same layer. Because I had problems with the texture before, I will delete the materials for each one. Okay, so deleting this, double check, okay, no material. Let's select the high resolution material. Let's delete the material, so they don't have material anymore. Normally we have to create an image. However, I noticed that in this environment here, even I giving a new image for baking, Blender goes and use the texture, the image associated with the texture, even I deleting here the material. Anyways, the way I work around this was to just bake and overwrite the name, or override the name to another name. So let's do that. So how we proceed now? How we bake the normal maps? All right, go to in the property panels. In the property panel here, select the render. Scroll down, and you have it in the very bottom, the bake tab. Scroll down. You select normals, and you select to the active. You check this checkbox here, and then There is one thing that I may be forgetting. Okay, in a high level model, as far as I remember, the rendering is on the modifier is off. I have to turn on this, otherwise the bake process will not bake the details. Will be all blue, the result. Okay, let's go back to the baking process. I think we set up already everything we want here. Yeah, I think it's pretty much this. And now we have to select first the high, and then I have to shift select the low. So shift, I will click here because unfortunately Blender doesn't hold uh, this second one, but they are both selected. Okay, you could do this here, but because they are overlapping each other, it's a hassle to select it here. So I prefer to select using the outliner here, but they are selected. So suggestion for developers is to change this color as well somehow, so we would know that they are both selected. And I think we can start baking. It may take a while, and if I didn't forget anything, it should work. So bake. Here we have the progress bar, and it's pretty good. It didn't take that long. So let me zoom out, and we definitely have. That's what I was talking about. Even if I had created new, it goes somehow. Blender remembers that this low resolution model is associated with this, even if deleting the material. Not sure if it's a bug or if I'm not using properly, but anyways, the workaround is to override this. Let's call this normal map. Let's change. Let's call head normal map. Enter. And let's save this image. Let me copy this name. Control C. And let's save as. If I just save, you will be going to overwrite the file that we want to preserve, the head texture. So save as image, and let's change the name. You see what I mean? We'd be writing to this file, and we don't want to mess up with this file. We want to preserve this. So let's give a new name. If you guys know how to work around this, not work around, but do the properly thing, if there is a properly thing, again, I'm not sure if it's a bug or not, please comment, because this is a collaboration. Okay, so I think you have everything in place. And now we can even delete the high resolution. We don't need anymore. Instead of deleting, I will be moving to this layer here, but I will not be activating anymore this layer. Let's just work with those layers here. Okay. Now let's restore the materials that we delete. Select the head. Let's go to the material, and let's select the original head. That's what I'm talking about. Now the head is referring to a different file. That's because we modified the file, right? So let's correct this. Doesn't seem to be in the database anymore. So let's bring the head paint. So we restore the texture painting that we had before. Now let's add a new texture for the normal map. That's what we want. Okay, so for that we say new. We want to have this coming from image, and the image is going to be the add normal map. Actually, we don't need this anymore. Let's close. Okay. Image sampling, we want normal map. Image mapping, I think we don't care because it's not tile. Mapping, we want UV. Same UV that I'm using for the texture painting. We don't want color. We do want normal. We may give a name, right, for this texture. Let's call normal map texture. I think we are done here. If everything went fine, we should have now on the texture, if you enable OpenGL shading on the shading, I think you have the final result. That's it. That's what we are looking for. So now we have, if I just select this and the lights, we have 4,000 faces only, and that adding the eyes. Let me remove the eyes. There you go. So we have less than 3,000 faces, but we have the details of almost 1 million faces. Okay, you can see the wrinkles here. You can even increase a little bit if you want. We can come here and increase to be more effective if you want. And remember, this is a bump normal map, so this is a fake 3D. I mean, this changes the way the light bounces back when it hits the object to the camera. So looks very, very realistic in terms of lightning so it's very real. But when you go and look at the outline of your model, you lose like let's say we had a huge bump here, right? If you go here, we won't see the bump anymore because this is like a fake 3D. All right, so this is what I had to share with you in this video. This looks like very obvious for people that are in the business for many years. For me, it was not trivial. I had to dig a lot because at the beginning I came out with nice sculptures. I really loved doing sculptures, and then I say, okay, and then what I do with my sculptures? How do I apply it? So I think the information is there. There are lots of tutorials talking about this, but it is spread. What ring the bell for me when I was watching a video from CG Cookie, I think was Jonathan Williams, and he just made a reference, say, oh, you guys can look at my creature tutorial, and then I learned exactly this information I'm providing you by watching that. But the title was completely unrelated, and I think it was covering more than just how to apply sculptures in low poly models. So I hope this will be more straightforward for you that are willing to increase the details. And if you like it, please leave a positive feedback. If you want to teach us something else, be free. I'll be posting your comment. And that's all I have. I appreciate it, and